Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
We will need stiff felt, scissors, vanishing markers, clips, velcro tape, hole punch, snaps and snap button tool, elastic band, buttons, wooden snowflakes, mulin, hot glue, buckle, and shoelace. Prepare patterns to the title Christmas book base page and cut them out. In this pattern, make hole in the place of this dot. Place pattern on felt in these colors, draw a dot in a place of hole, and outline shape with vanishing marker. Then cut it out. At the end of our work, we will make a hole in the place of these dots, so remember not to sew any elements in this place. Second pattern, place on velcro tape and cut out its shape. We will need 13 velcros with a loop and hoop side. Take that green base page you made earlier and patterns titled Santa Claus Page Part 1 and 2 and cut them out. Place patterns on right color of felt, outline shapes with vanishing marker, then cut them out along the drawn lines. First element, place on the base page, 6 mm from the bottom edge and sew it on. In the next step, we will need a buckle with an opening width of 25 mm. Thread the yellow element through the buckle. Then place it here and sew only its side edges from here to this place and from here to this place. At the beginning, and end of sewing, sew forward and back and repeat 3 times. In the next step, take this pattern, place it on creamy elements so that the upper edges overlap, and draw the shapes of eyes with vanishing marker. I will embroider it with black molding. If you prefer, you can also draw it with fabric marker. Ready element place on the base page, 62 mm from the bottom edge, and sew it on. Prepare this pattern and cut out the inner shape. Place it on white elements so that they overlap, and outline the inner shape with a vanishing marker. Then cut it out. Place it on top, 32 mm from the bottom edge, and sew along the inner edge, and also from here to this place. At the beginning and end of sewing, sew forward and back and repeat 3 times. On face element, place cheeks, nose, eyebrows and mouth, and sew each one along the edge, matching the color of the thread to the color of the felt. Place moustache under the nose in this way, then take two white buttons with a diameter of about 6 mm, place them here and sew them by hand with double thread. If you want to know how to make it, click on this link at the top of the screen. In the next step, prepare gloves elements, place red ones under white elements, and fasten it with clips. Then place gloves on the sides of the belly in this way, and sew only white elements along the edge. In this pattern, make hole in the place of dot. Place it on red elements so that they overlap, and draw dot in the place of hole. Then place Velcro with a loop side here, and sew it along the edge. Turn this element over, place red element on it in this way, and sew along the edge. The upper and lower threads are red. White elements place on top and sew each one along the edge. Remember that the bottom thread is red. In the next step, cut off excess thread along the edge of the head. The last two elements place on head, fasten them with clips, then take button with a diameter of about 50 mm, place it on top and sew it by hand with red double thread. Place head on top and draw the place where Velcro touches the base page. Then place Velcro with a hoop side here and sew it on. You can sew small buttons around the Santa Claus, but remember not to sew them in the place of dot that you drew earlier. Take light blue base page and patterns with the title Reindeer Page Part 1 and 2 and create felt elements based on them. First element place on the base page 12 mm from the bottom edge and sew only from here to this place. At the beginning and end of sewing, sew forward and back and repeat 3 times. Second element, place on top and sew in the same way, from here to this place. At the beginning and end of sewing, sew forward and back and repeat 3 times. Prepare 4 pieces of felt in these colors, place square elements on top in this way and sew along the edge. Remember that the upper and lower threads are the same. On top, place red elements and sew along the edge. Remember to match the color of the bottom thread to the color of the felt. On very top, place these elements and sew them twice only from here to this place. At the end, cut off excess felt along the edge of the gift. Be careful not to cut the seam in this place. Now place heart on red element and sew it twice from here to this place. The bottom thread should be red. Place creamy element under red one and fasten it with clips. Then place everything on red felt and sew only red element from here to this place. At the beginning and end of sewing, sew forward and back and repeat 3 times. The upper and lower threads are red. In the next step, draw a line in this place using vanishing marker. Then cut off excess thread along the edge and the drawn line. This element place on felt in the same color and sew along the edge. The upper and lower threads are the same. These elements place on top and sew along the edge. Remember that the bottom thread is light brown. Creamy element place on head so that their bottom edges overlap and sew only from here to this place. Then place nose on top and sew it on. Now I will draw eyes and a smile with a vanishing marker, then embroider it with 2 dark brown threads on the needle, in the same way as Santa Claus eyes. Below the eyes, I will embroider cheeks with French knot method using pink mulling. How to make it step by step I explained in another video. The link you will find at the top of the screen. Prepare a dark brown element, place it under the head and fasten it with clips. Then place everything on top and sew only the head along the edge. From here to this place, choose the white thread, and from here to this place, choose light brown thread. The bottom thread is light brown. Now please cut off excess fat along the edge of the reindeer. This element place on felt in the same color and sew along the edge. The upper and lower threads are green. In the next step, cut off excess felt along the edge. In this pattern, make holes in the places of dots. Then place it on green elements so that they overlap and draw dots in the places of holes. Next, make holes here with a hole punch. Choose the smallest size. Prepare 2 pairs of snaps consisting of a plate and a second element with a convex surface and snap button tool. Put the plate in the hole on the top and the second element on the bottom. Keep them in this position with your fingers all the time. Take snap button tool, cover the snaps and press. Do the same on the other side. Arrange reindeer and slate in this way. Place green element on top and draw the place where snaps touch the felt. Then make holes in the places of these dots. Choose the smallest size. Prepare 2 pairs of snaps consisting with a plate and a second element with a flat surface. Turn the reindeer over, place the plate in the hole on top and the second element on the bottom. Take snap button tool, cover the snaps and press. Do the same in this hole. The last element place on the base page here and sew along the edge. At the end I will sew few white buttons on the base page. In the next step, we will make a snowman page, so please take second light blue base page and these patterns and create felt elements. First element, place on the base page 6 mm from the bottom edge and sew from here to this place. At the beginning and end of sewing, sew forward and back and repeat 3 times. In this pattern, make holes in the places of dots. Place patterns on white elements so that they overlap and draw dots in the places of holes. In the place of this dot, place velcro with a loop side and sew it on. In the places of these dots, make holes with a hole punch. Choose the smallest size. Place this pattern on white elements so that their upper edges overlap, and draw the shape of smile with vanishing marker. I will embroider it with black mulling. In the places of dots, place black circles, then the nose below, and sew each one along the edge. In the center of black circles, I will embroider twinkles with white mulling in the same way as reindeer's cheeks. In the places of these dots, place buttons with a diameter of 50 mm and sew them by hand with double thread. I forgot about the cheeks. I also embroidered it with French knot method on the sides. In the next step, place brown element under white one and fasten it with clips. Now please turn this element over, place body of the snowman on top and sew it along the edge from here to this place. At the beginning and end of sewing, sew forward and back and repeat 3 times. The upper and lower threads are white. Take 2 elements of the scarf, arrange them in this way, and fasten them with clips. Then place scarf on the snowman and sew it from here to this place. At the beginning and end of sewing, sew forward and back and repeat 3 times. Remember that the lower thread is white. Black element place on head 12 cm from the bottom edge of the snowman and sew along the edge. Then place green element on top so that their bottom edges overlap and sew only from here to this place. This element placed on very top to cover the bottom edges of previous elements. Fasten it with clips. And sew along the edge. Finally, cut off excess felt along the edge of the snowman. Place snowman in the center of the base page and draw the place where Velcro touches the base page. Then place Velcro with a hoop side here and sew it along the edge. Circle elements place around the snowman and sew each one along the edge, matching the color of the thread to the color of the felt. In the center of each circle, make holes with a hole punch. Choose the smallest size. Take 3 elastic band, 1 mm wide and 40 cm long, 6 wooden snowflakes with a hole in the center part, and 3 last elements. I will thread the elastic band through the holes in the base page, snowflakes and felt elements starting from the bottom of the base page. I divided the page into 3 horizontal zones where the snowflakes will move. If you want, you can choose a different combination. Prepare a creamy base page and patterns with a title Christmas tree page and create felt elements based on them. First element place on the base page, 5 mm from the bottom edge and sew along the edge. Brown element place under green one and fasten it with clips. Then place everything on the base page and sew only green element along the edge. Place elements of the presents and shapes on the base page, just like I did, and sew each one along the edge, matching the color of the thread to the color of the felt. Next two elements place on green and red elements so that the bottom edges overlap, and sew only from here to this place and from here to this place. At the beginning and end of sewing, sew forward and back and repeat 3 times. Next two elements place on top and sew along the edge with green and red thread. In the next step, on each shape element, place Velcro with a hoop side and sew it along the edge. On each square element, place Velcro with a loop side and sew it on. Turn the squares over. Place shapes on top and sew each one along the edge, matching the color of the thread to the color of the felt. The upper and lower threads are the same. Finally, cut off excess thread along the edge of the shapes. If children over 3 years of age will be playing with the book, you can use such beautiful decorations. I can glue them with hot glue to any shape. The link to the store where I bought them can be found in the video description. The last will be the Fireplace page, so please take dark brown base page and these patterns and create felt elements. First element, place on the base page 16 mm from the bottom edge and sew along the edge. Draw a vertical line connecting both edges. Then measure 20 mm along the entire length. Repeat the same on the left side. Then connect the drawn dots. And draw short vertical lines in any places. In the next step, sew each of the lines on the machine with brown thread. Orange element place on creamy one so that their bottom edges overlap and sew along the edge. Then place it on the base page and sew creamy element from here to this place. Arrange fire elements in this way, then place it under gray element and fasten it with clips. Then place it on top and sew only gray element along the edge. In this pattern, make holes in the places of dots. Then place it on creamy elements so that they overlap and draw dots in the places of holes. Then place smaller circle in the places of dots and sew each one along the edge. Ready element place here and sew along the edge. In the center of each circle, place mushroom buttons and sew them by hand with double thread. Prepare 3 elastic band, 1 mm wide and 15 cm long. Fold the elastic band in half. Then make a loop at the end. And cut off the ends. Each loop glue to the center of the circle with a hot glue. In the next step, turn the circles over. Place them under these 3 elements and fasten it with clips. Then place them on felt in the same color and sew along the edge. The upper and lower threads are the same. White elements place on top just like I did and sew each one along the edge. Remember to match the color of the bottom thread to the color of the felt. Finally, cut off excess felt along the edge. In the center of these elements, place Velcro with a loop side and sew it along the edge. Turn these elements over, then place pink and blue elements on top and sew along the edge. The upper and lower threads are the same. On top, place these red elements and sew along the edge. Remember that the bottom thread is pink and blue. The last elements place on top and sew them only twice from here to this place and from here to this place. In the next step, cut off excess felt along the edge of the presents. Place presents on the base page and draw the place where Velcro touches the base page. Then place Velcro with a hoop side here and sew them along the edge. Take all the base pages and place them on felt in the same color. And sew each one along the edge. Remember that the upper and lower threads are the same. Finally, cut off excess felt along the edge of the base pages. In the next step, take a hole punch, choose the largest size, mine is 5 mm, and make holes in the places of dots that you made at the beginning of our work. Arrange base pages as you want it to be and thread shoelace through each holes. Then tie a bow and it's ready. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you liked this project and you had a lot of fun doing it. Please let me know in the comment your thoughts. I will be very grateful. Click here to make another Christmas quiet book. I wish you all the best. Bye bye!